Welcome to the SwimSwam podcast. I'm your host, Coleman Hodges. Joining me today, she's an NCAA champion, NCAA All-American from Cal, 2016 Olympian, and currently a member of the LA Current, pun intended, Abbey Weitzeil. What's up? How's it going, Abbey?
Hello. I'm doing well. I'm just in the bubble, hanging out. Just got back from practice, and nothing really new.
There's a lot I want to discuss with you, but let's talk about this current situation. Let's talk about this last match. It seems like you've kind of hit your rhythm, at least from the outside looking in. You know, you've hit American records in the 50 free, 100 free. How would you assess the last match?
I think it was extremely fun. First of all, I'm having so much fun here, being able to race again and just being on. I mean, I love LA, but just seeing everyone that you normally see at swim meets, even on other teams, it's just been a blast here. I think last match was obviously probably my best one so far. And I think you're absolutely correct. I have started to hit my stride a little bit, kind of figured out how to get back into racing, the feel for that, how to not only just now that that was my fourth meet. So the first three meets, the first one was just a blur, first meet, bang, get back into racing, hit it. It was a shock. Second meet, I did decently, not my best. I didn't swim the 100 at that meet. And then the third meet, I swam the 100 freestyle individually. Definitely was, it was like a new race coming back into it. I hadn't raced it yet. And so I got a feel for that. And I think the fourth meet, putting everything together, kind of continuing on the 50. I don't know, just having a little more rest, as well as just looking at my videos and going over my race plan and trying to execute that as well. Being able to hit the turns a little bit better. Short course meters is different. So learning the walls a little bit more, and just rising off the emotional high, keep that going, and doing stuff like that. So it's definitely been fun, and I'm really excited for the upcoming meets.
Yeah, but so short course meters, yeah, obviously different. Like, coming from an American perspective, I think fans might think, it's yards to me. It's not that different, but then you talk to the athletes and everyone pretty much consensus is, yeah, it's a lot different. What do you find to be the biggest difference there? Is it just kind of the physical side of, or more like the technical side of strokes and getting your strokes and turns down? Or is it more of kind of the energy management of how you're actually swimming your races?
I think it's everything. I mean, I think to start off with the stroke technical aspect, although it might not look different, it can be depending on what stroke. I know people, I just talked to people about this, but for different strokes, I know like people have stroke counts in their head for when they do a turn, and it's not long course. So there's normal stroke count for yards turns into a completely different game, short course meters, because it's just more swimming. If you think about the time difference, like 100 freestyle, although my 51.2 is good, I don't know how that really relates to the yards times, but like, let's say 46 seconds in 100 freestyle and you're swimming 51 seconds in 100 meter freestyle short course, that's literally so much extra time to be racing, even though it doesn't look like it. And so it's a lot more swimming, and it's a lot more for Americans, like learning where the turns are and learning how to, you get a little bit more time to get your groove in before you hit your turn. Your brain, I feel like we swim yards so much that we're like in the back of our mind, like intuitively like, oh, you're turning now. And so like in short course meters, your brain's like, oh, you've taken this many strokes, or you see the T turn and you're like, no, but I need one more stroke. And so it's like you're kind of fighting your like the back of your mind for when you're supposed to do things. And so it's just a lot different, even though it doesn't look it. So it definitely getting into that, even off of not having raced in a while, that took a second, and it's still taking a second, but a lot better.
Yeah, in a similar vein, like you said, it doesn't look like a big difference, but it is for you personally. Just as more of a shorter swimmer, let's take the 50 free for example. You went 23.4 in one of the previous matches, new American record. You 21.0 short course. Like even that slight of a difference, like what is the difference there for how you're approaching that race and when you're actually swimming it?
I think in like the 50, I think it's still a lot about the turn. Obviously, like if you can nail your turn, you're going to have a decent 50. Because it's a lot of it's start and turn. There is you have a couple more cycles each lap, which I feel like is good for me. Because I feel like my turns are fine. Like I've gotten a lot better at my turns, but I think I'm better at swimming than turning still. So I think having maybe a few extra cycles in there to continue on the rhythm could be good for me if I can nail my turn, which I think I had a pretty decent one last meet. So that helped a lot compared to the other meets. So yeah, it's definitely just different. Depends on who you are. If you're an underwater person and you're really good at underwaters, you're still going to have a little bit more swimming to do after. So it just depends on the person and how you look at the race. And how I look at the race is start and turn. And being able to get into my groove a little bit is going to be pretty helpful, I think, with a couple extra strokes in there.
Yeah. And so then let's move on to, I guess, your schedule. Regular season's over. Now that you can kind of take a breath and look back on it, how did you feel? You kind of already broke down how your performances at each meet, but just kind of what did you learn from that sequence of meets? I'm guessing it's pretty different than even, your regular college dual meet season of just in terms of mental prep and also how often you're racing.
Yeah, I think many people would describe this as a college dual meet times 20. It's the same format, same idea. You're racing 2 to 4 times. Most people, I feel like 2 to 4 times in a session, in a short amount of time, 2 hours. You got a lot going on. The races. It's all about points. It's all about maybe you're being put in events that you're not going to likely win, but you can rack up the points for the teams for the team. So it's very similar. You're going for points. You're going multiple races back to back to back. And it's very interesting, especially with not being able to like the extra minutes that you have to take to be behind stage. And so that's where it kind of gets chaotic a little bit because you're supposed to be behind stage a certain amount of time before. And although you can skip the ready room at this meet, it's not as important. You're still having to stand behind the stage for a second before you walk out. And then there's a lot more going on than a dual meet, which is why it's so much more blown up, as well as there's a lot more at stake. You're getting paid. We're professional athletes. We're here. We're trying to earn money, like this race means more. Although we're not, it means more than just like team. I love being a part of a team. It's super fun, but like we're here to earn money. And so there's a lot more at stake. It's a little bit more pressure on your shoulders when you're behind the blocks, I feel like. So there's that aspect to it. And I feel like my schedule, we played around with it a little bit. I swam the 50 breast the first meet, swam the 100 IM a couple times. And I think they got a feel for kind of what our lineup's going to be. We still haven't been told, but I'm assuming I'll be in pretty much the same thing. Who knows if they'll play with it a little bit more. But yeah, I feel pretty good about the lineup, and it's just honestly, like I said before, it's just been so much fun, and I'm so happy that like I came and that this has happened this year. No one was sure that this was going to happen, and now that I'm here and able to race, I'm like so happy. It's so much fun.
Yeah, let's break down that financial piece of it a little. You've been a pro year and a half now
No, I
ish.
just graduated.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, because no, that's okay. I took a gap year. I took a gap year
That's
after high school.
right.
So
Okay.
yeah, so I graduated high school in 15, took a gap year for 16, went to college fall of 16, and so I just finished. So I just turned pro actually.
So this is your first ISL season. This is your first real experience, making money through racing. And like you said, I don't think again, as a fan, we don't always consider that. That's like, oh, you're racing for money, especially with the jackpot rule that you can steal people's
Mhm.
money. I just talked about this with someone else. It's
Mhm.
like that's intense, but also, if you
Yeah.
swim really fast, that's cool. Yeah,
Yeah.
break that down a little more of just what it's like to race for money, for your living.
I mean, I think it's the same as it's always been. Like when you're a professional athlete, and even before when I was in college, you know, I I live in the Bay Area. It's very expensive to live there. And it's not like my scholarship covered my full rent. I've always been, racing to make a living, and not just for that reason. I don't want that to be why I'm just swimming. I promise you it's not. I love swimming, and there's many other reasons why I'm swimming. But for that part of it, we've always been, as a professional athlete, you're that's your job. You're racing and you're trying to go fast. You get paid. The faster you go, the more money you can make. And this meet just blows that magnifying glass up for people, because obviously there are, at this meet was made to help professional athletes um, financially in a way. And so this is just a giant magnifying glass on the situation going on. And I think people are more aware of how much money they're making, as well as opportunity. And when this racing, hello,
Yep,
yeah,
we're
did you,
back.
it reloaded, did you hear all of that?
I heard most of it. I think we cut out it when people have this opportunity of racing.
Oh yes. Sorry, my computer like refreshed everything. I was like, oh my god, wait, where'd he go? I think, yeah, there's just a huge magnifying glass on the situation. And fans as well as the athletes are way more aware of what's going on with the finances. And when you're behind the blocks, and not that that's what I'm thinking about behind the blocks, but when you're up there racing for a living, for me specifically, to pay rent in the Bay Area, for food, for people have families, people, like all of that situation, that just blows up the pressure and the intenseness of everything as well. So it, like I said, it's not a different situation than normal. People have always been racing as pros to make a living, but I think this is just a more interesting thing we've never had before. It's a brand new thing to the sport of swimming.
Yeah. How have you been able, or how have you dealt with that pressure thus far? Just in these last 4 weeks.
Yeah, I think that honestly, every penny I can make has been awesome. I honestly haven't been solely thinking about the financial aspect of it. I've just been enjoying racing, and I think that's kind of what benefits me the most as an athlete, is to kind of just enjoy what I'm doing in the moment, like enjoy racing, have a lot of fun, and then whatever comes as a prize is awesome. And yeah, that's partially why I'm here. Obviously, I wanted to be able to race, get racing experience. We don't know when we're going to get that again before next year. So definitely here for that and for training and to have fun. But like when the financial situation is adding up as well, it's pretty nice. So I think there's not a lot of pressure for that, but I would say that it's a great deal of a pat on the back when you do well.
Definitely. That makes sense. That
Yeah.
seems like a really cool thing. So you mentioned how much fun you're having. the LA Current seems like they have a good dynamic. You know, I've talked to several of your teammates, and they all say the chemistry is there. How have you felt you guys come together in the past few weeks? Obviously, you know, you already know a good amount of people on that team, but to have, you know, the entire LA Current come together, how do you guys feel you've meshed in these last few weeks?
Honestly, I think I couldn't have asked for anything more from the team. I am so happy that I'm on this team and Cal teammates here. But I've met on this team and just the time you spent, the people you race with, the people you cheer for, much fun, and I felt so just that everyone's stepping up and wants to like swim fast. I think the team is moving in such a good direction because we have found like the groove of taking each meet, learning from it, and like keeping it going rather than everyone being on their own path and being like, well, I'm going to rest for this and I'm going to do this and I'm going to do this. I mean, people are all over the place in their training anyways. Like some people, I find it hard to be like, yeah, everyone's tapered because some people didn't come from their pools being open for that long. So they weren't like at a peak before they could drop. And so like everyone's at a different place and like, yeah, we have raced so much. You can't not rest your body in between the races and the meets. So yeah, I think just trying to hit things on their own. And I think that's really cool. And it's been really fun.
It's that sounds really cool and really fun. And for me personally, it's been really interesting to hear about, like you said, you know, swimming has this idea of like taper, you know, it's like you train really hard and then you taper, and like this is just a totally different experience. It's like you're racing so hard, you can't not rest in between those race days, especially when it's like 2 on, 2 off, 2 on.
Yeah, exactly.
So what has your training looked like just maybe the past couple weeks? You know, what are you doing to make sure you're putting in the work you need to, but also being race ready?
Yeah, I think I came from a solid base of training beforehand. So when I got here, I kind of we had to quarantine and then we kind of raced right away. And then after the first meet, you kind of got to assess a little bit. Kept a good aerobic couple practices, dropped down. Then we had a double that week. So obviously rest, like didn't do, I can't even remember, didn't too, there's no way I did too much in between or 8-day break before the fourth meet. So definitely just got back into the little bit of training, never got like crushed, did a couple doubles, did some lifting, dropped down to singles the last like 4 days and like kept it steady, little bit of tuning before the fourth meet. And then now I took yesterday completely off. I wasn't planning on it. And then I woke up and was like, I'm just going to take the day off. We have 4 days. Honestly, sometimes you just got to let your body recover. There's no way we're getting out of shape. We're racing so much and there's only so much you can do. You're not going to like get in shape 4 days before a meet, you know? So it's like, I decided to take yesterday off. Today hit a little bit of tune work. The next 2 days, I'm sure I'll do the same. So that's what I've been doing. I'm sure people are very similar to me. Not really sure, but I feel like that's what I need to do and try and get a little bit faster for the semi.
Yeah. And it sounds like from that, you have a fair amount of independence. I'm sure, you know, that comes with the pro territory, but also with kind of not having a specific coach there in the ISL. How much of a plan did you have going in with your coach or just with yourself of like, okay, this is what I'll do? And then how much do you use like the LA's coaches to kind of guide that as opposed to just knowing, okay, I need today off?
Yeah, I think that I am someone who doesn't like to decide my own practices. I feel like I'll question whether that's what I need to be doing. So I like a lot of guidance. There's a random occasion where I'll be like, I'll just take it from here. But I think that I've just had a lot of support from whoever I need support from. Yeah, Terry's not here, but I've been in contact with Terry. We didn't have like a plan coming in. but I've had help from honestly whoever I need. We have a lot of great coaches on staff. I'm with a familiar training group. I know all the I'm training with, obviously Katie's with me, who I train with every day, and we swim with the Cal guys who we're and we're obviously friends and familiar with. We have a couple people join our group sometimes, so it's just like people I'm familiar with, and whatever I need from a coach, if I want to work out that day or want advice, like I'll go to anyone and ask. So it's about like a team kind of thing, and whoever I need guidance from that day, they're totally open to helping. So it's a pretty good system we got going here, and I think a lot of people are doing the same.
I think one of the coolest things about ISL that we've heard is that it just does bring people together like that. That wouldn't necessarily get to be together. Have you trained with someone who you wouldn't normally get to that was really fun, or just had an interaction with, an athlete that you didn't even know or you hadn't had much interaction with before that was like, wow, that was really cool?
Yeah, honestly, this whole team, like this sounds like cheesy because it's like, oh, the whole team's great. But honestly, I've met the team that people I didn't know on this team, which I've known a lot. I know a lot of them already, but like a lot of the people who aren't from the US that I didn't know are incredible people. They're so much fun to like sit at dinner with or like race. Like I'm in the races with Beryl a lot and she's awesome. And like it's just like people that you aren't normally, that you would have never really met or like spent time with. Like obviously you've maybe raced them before or something, but people you don't really get to know. It's really fun, and everyone I've met here is so incredible, and it's been awesome. And ISL does bring people together, especially this year. I feel like we're in a bubble for 6 weeks together, and we're the only human interaction that we have with each other. So we got to hang out, and a lot of fun. And yeah, so definitely a bonding experience.
Yeah, I can't, it's hard for me to imagine a scenario like that because, like you said, you're forced to bond, you're forced to hang out with those teammates, because it is a fairly isolated environment. We talked about, kind of the highs and lows. Has there been a particular low point for you throughout these last 4 or 5 weeks, or just, a hurdle that you've kind of had to get over, because of the situation, because of where you at with swimming, in any of the above?
I haven't felt like there's a big hurdle I need to get over. Honestly, this outside of swimming, the situation's been great. I can't complain about anything. I know a lot of people feel the same way. ISL has done an incredible job. I do not feel like I've been here for almost 5 weeks. I feel like I've maybe been here for like 2.5. It's gone by insanely fast. I haven't been like sitting in my room yet, like, oh, I'm so bored. Like I've been chilling, and everyone's been having so much fun. And the swimming wise, I think the first meet was maybe, if I had to pick a hurdle, the first meet was a little like getting past the mental side of like, okay, I just did not swim very, very well. Whole 6 weeks are gonna go like, but other than that, I feel like I've just personally had a pretty smooth ride, and hope I can continue it.
Yeah. So, and speaking of continuing, you've got semis in just a day or two, and then finals after that. Fingers crossed. So again, going back to
Hopefully, yeah,
that, going back to that subject of tapering, it's like, how do you prep for, or how do you come down or rest, when like you said, it's like you can't build back up and then come back down. So how do you continue that momentum moving into the postseason?
I think that most of it's probably mental. Just like I said, you're not gonna, let's say we have semis and we make finals, we have our semis Sunday, Monday, and I think finals would be Saturday, Sunday. So we have about 5 or 6 days in between. And you're not going to grind for 2 days and drop. You're just not. So I think that it's mostly mental and looking at your races, fine tuning things that you need to. Obviously, you're not going to fix something in 5 days, but maybe you need to work on your turns a little bit. Maybe you need to do this. Maybe you need to do that. Keeping a good feel in your stroke, I think, is really important. Doing some drills or sculling or something that you like to do. Doing making sure you rest your nervous system a little bit. You just did 2 hard days of racing. I think it's hard to feel like you need to like get up and do a 25 fast at practice to make sure you're still sharp, but making sure you let your nervous system reset and like calm down before maybe hitting something fast again a little bit before the day before. I think that's really important, is learning to control your emotions and like settle down, let your body recover, let your mind recover, let your nervous system recover, and then pop back up right before and like be ready to go. I think it's mostly that, learning to control, and then learning to control as well. Like I said, just staying on the pathway, like confidence wise, and knowing that nothing's going to change in 5 days. If you did well, you can do well again, and if you didn't do as you wanted, it's going to be okay. Like, you're not going to just like continue to drop, I think it's just like knowing that everything's going to stay up here, and that part of it, that's really hard to do, I feel like, as an athlete, especially in this situation when there's a lot of racing going on. So that's something to keep in mind.
It's coming from such a different perspective than like, your typical train for 9 months and then rest for one meet. And it's so interesting to hear about. And I'm really excited to watch how semis and finals unfold because of that.
Me too.
Do you have someone you're looking forward to seeing swim, maybe outside of yourself or the LA Current?
I mean, no, not specifically. I love watching swimming. I think it's really just probably because I am a swimmer, but I think when I'm done with my races, if I'm not in the last event, being in the box is so fun to watch everyone swim. And like, if I'm not in skins, watching skins is literally my favorite thing ever. It's my new favorite thing to watch. So if I don't get to be in it, which that would mean that our team didn't win the medley, so I'm not in it or something like that. So if I don't get to be in it, which I hope I do, but we'll see, then watching it, that's what I'm excited for. I wouldn't say it's a person, it's skins. I love watching it, men or women. It's so much fun. Like nothing swimming's ever seen before, and it such a emotional high, like right after one another. And there's just so much going on. So that's definitely something that I always look forward to watching.
Yeah. Do you have a favorite skins to stroke wise?
No, I like watching all of them. I've done it freestyle. I actually did it breaststroke. I just didn't make it fast the first round, so that doesn't count. But I think watching any stroke is fun. If I were to choose one to do, obviously it would probably be freestyle, but I would love, obviously I'm not going to get the opportunity here, but I would love to try a different stroke skins to see what happens. Like maybe some backstroke, or I learned how to do a backstroke start here. Like, well, obviously I already knew, but I didn't perfect it, but I got decently better at backstroke starts here because we weren't sure if I was going to be swimming like the 50 back at one point. So, like a couple meets ago. So like in practice before like I started doing backstroke starts. And so I was like, maybe I wish I could do like a backstroke skin. That would be
that brings up another topic, which is just how have you felt about getting the diversity of events that you've gotten to swim, that we've gotten to see other people swim? I mean, it really kind of puts an emphasis on being a well-rounded swimmer, right?
Yeah, I think it's super fun. I mean, the 100 IM is one of the most interesting events, I think, and it was super fun to swim. Who knows if I'm going to be swimming in semis? I really don't know. Beryl did an awesome job, so maybe she will be. But I did get to swim at a couple meets, and it was so interesting because I dove in, and I'm sure everyone felt the same way because no one swims the 100 IM. And I was so like confused. I was like, okay, butterfly. Okay, I'm now back. Okay, now I'm done. Like it just happened so fast, and I was like so confused because you want to think, but then you don't have time to think. But when you don't think, you don't know what you're doing. I don't know. I was just so confused. I also was really nervous about my back to breast turn because I can only really do it really well on one arm, and I was really focused on landing on my right arm. And then so it was just like it was really a lot of confusion in there, but it was fun because it was something I had never done before. And I got to race people I don't normally get to race. Like I got to race Mel Margalis, which me and Mel never raced, but like in the ready room, we were like, yeah, we get to race each other because like we just never race because she swims IM. And so that was fun, just being around different people and racing something that no one ever gets to race. So that was really fun. That was probably my most favorite. And I think it's really fun to watch people aren't normal.
So to wrap things up, I don't want to keep you too long, but outside of swimming, what activities have you enjoyed so far? Be it, your meal routines, the things you're doing with the other teammates. What are you doing outside the pool?
Yeah, it depends on the day. I think before the first couple meets, when we had a little bit more time in between or things were new, I would take a lot of walks around the island. We're allowed to be outside a couple times a day. We're not allowed to leave the little island, but the island's beautiful and there's so much to see on it. And so you can just take me and Katie would take a lot of walks just to be outside as well. It's gotten extremely cold here, so I have not taken a walk in a while. So it's pretty cold here. But outside of that, I've been watching a lot of movies, a lot of TV, been just hanging out in the lobby with people. They have a coffee bar downstairs. So me and Katie will sit in the lobby and have some coffee, or like if you sit there long enough, people pass through and you chat with random people. And so I don't know, just hanging around with different people, having some alone time, watching TV in my room. Like sometimes, just sometimes you just want to be alone and watch TV. So yeah, it just depends like what I want to do that day. So yeah, not too much. Everyone's like, if I talk to people from home, they're like, what's new? I'm like, literally nothing is new. I am still in this hotel. So yeah, but it's like I said, I can't complain. I haven't felt like I've been bored, stuck in here. It's gone by extremely fast. So
well, that's really cool to hear, because that seems like a situation that could get really stale really quickly. And so
yes, I was a little nervous about it coming into it, but I couldn't have asked for anything better.
Nice. Well, Abby, any parting thoughts or thoughts heading into semis before we let you go?
Go LA Current.
You've been listening to the SwimSwam podcast. Stay tuned for new episodes every week. You can take SwimSwam podcast on the go by subscribing on your favorite podcast platform. Look for links in the description below, and be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel for more videos as well.